creative company of the last 30 years, Pixar. Back in 2011, Pixar storyboard artist Emma Coates shared their 22 rules for storytelling. And the rules are a must read for writers, entrepreneurs, and anyone who wants to tell captivating stories. Here's the breakdown. You might be thinking, why should I study lessons from an animated film company? Because whatever your job is, you're in the business of storytelling. Communication is the essence of winning people to your way of thinking, and storytelling is the essence of communication. Hey guys, my name is Asta from PaperVideo, and in this video, I'm going to tell you about 22 rules by Pixar. Now let's get to the 22 rules. Rule number 1. You admire a character for trying more than for their successes. Your audience loves the story and the path and then the ups and the downs. For stories, brands, and products, focus on how and why and less on the what. Rule number 2. You've got to keep in mind what's interesting to you as an audience, not what's fun to do as a writer. They can be very different, quite similar to the first rule of writing. You, the writer, are completely irrelevant. Focus on delivering to the audience. Rule number 3. Trying for theme is important, but you won't see what the story is actually about till you're at the end of it. Now rewrite. Your original idea rarely ends up the same as your final idea. So don't overthink it, take something, get it going, then refine it. Rule number 4. Once upon a time there was a dash, every day dash, one day dash, because of that dash, until finally dash. Whether you're a writer, an entrepreneur, or a brand, you can easily use the story spine to effortlessly create a narrative. Rule number 5. Simplify. Focus. Combine your characters. Hop over detours. You'll feel like you're losing valuable stuff, but it sets you free. This goes far beyond storytelling. The goal for every writer, marketer, or entrepreneur should be to add constraints and do more with less. Rule number 6. What is your character good at or comfortable with? Throw the polar opposite at them. Challenge them. How do they deal? Think of this like the inversion technique. What is everyone in your niche saying? How can you say the same things but in different ways? Rule number 7. Come up with your ending before you figure out your middle. Seriously, endings are hard. Get yours working up front. Stories, sale pages, brand pitches always start with the end in mind and work backward from there. Rule number 8. Finish your story, let go, even if it's not perfect. In an ideal world, you have both, but move on. Do better next time. Reminds me of this famous quote, no book is ever finished, it is merely abandoned. Don't let perfectionism keep you from publishing. Rule number 9. When you're stuck, make a list of what wouldn't happen next. Lots of times, the material to get you unstuck will show up. This is the ultimate hack to overcome writer's block. Make a list of everything you don't want to write about to get the juices flowing. Rule number 10. Pull apart the stories you like. What you like in them is a part of you. You've got to recognize it before you can use it. 90% of being a good writer or storyteller is being a good noticer. Notice when things resonate with you and start asking why. Rule number 11. Putting it on paper lets you start fixing it. If it stays in your head, a perfect idea, you'll never share it with anyone. Your head is the worst place to store ideas. You've got to commit to writing 2 crappy pages per day. Focus on getting the raw material. Rule number 12. Discount is the first thing that comes to mind, and the second, third, fourth, fifth get obvious out of the way. Surprise yourself. To find your best ideas, you need to unclog the junk first. Rule number 13. Give your characters opinions. Passive, malleable, might seem likable as you write, but it's poison to the audience. Your opinions should make your audience take a stand. No, it seems, or maybes, or potentiallys. Take a stand and don't hedge. Rule number 14. Why must I tell you this story? What's the belief burning within that your story feeds off of? That's the heart of it. Nothing to add on this on. It's one of the best reflection questions I've come across. Rule number 15. If you were your character in this situation, how would you feel? Honesty lends credibility to unbelievable situations. The best writers and storytellers strike the balance of authenticity, like telling personal stories while still providing value to the audience. Rule number 16. What are the stakes? Give us a reason to root for the character. What happens if they don't succeed? stack the odds against. Stakes are a part of the foundation on which every good story is built. Rule number 17. No work is ever wasted. If it's not working, let go and move on. It'll come back around to be useful later. You won't always have to put out your best stuff, and trying to do so is impossible and leads to burnout. So focus on showing up. Consistency creates competence. Rule number 18. You have to know yourself. The difference between doing your best and fussing. Story is testing, not refining. Too often people get caught up in trying to plan every step from A to Z. And this planning is really procrastination in disguise. Rule number 19. Coincidences to get characters into trouble are great. Coincidences to get them out of that is cheating. Rule number 20. Exercise. Take the building blocks of a movie you dislike. How would you rearrange them into what you do like? You can use this for every creative medium. When something doesn't resonate with you, an article, a tweet, an ad, or a story, ask why. Then make it better. Rule number 21. You gotta identify your situation or characters. You can't just write cool. What would make you act that way? This goes both ways. You need to put yourself in your character's shoes and your audience's shoes. Make your listener feel understood through authenticity. Rule number 22. What's the essence of your story? Most economical telling of it? If you know that, you can build from there. And the best for last, ask yourself, what are you really trying to say? In as few words as possible. Strip away everything that distracts from the goal. And that's it. I find myself going through these rules quite often, and every time I reread them, I come away with a gold. So, if you enjoy these, jump back to these in the video again and help the next generation of storytellers.